hearing. For now, pressure is mounting on the government to stop what activists have termed targeted intimidation of those trying to oppose it. Vera Mora.
Well, thanks, Vera Mora. Now, there's public discourse ongoing over the potential misuse of terrorism legislation under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. We've seen a number of arrested protesters facing terrorism-related charges. In fact, a statement released today by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution refers to Section 2 and Section 4 of the Prevention of Terrorism Act that qualifies such actions as those intended to cause serious disruption of essential services or create widespread fear through targeted destruction. For more on this, Grace Wangechi joins us virtually. She's the Executive Director of the Independent Medical Legal Unit, IMLU, a Kenyan human rights organization focused on combating torture and promoting human rights. She's equally been visible at the front line as IMLU provides legal support for families of victims of extrajudicial excesses in the wake of youth-led protests in the country. Wangechi, it's a pleasure to have you with us on the broadcast. Thanks for making time. Straight to it, do you believe the use of the Prevention of Terrorism Act to charge protesters is legally justified, or is the government misusing counter-terrorism laws to suppress dissent?
Thank you and good evening. Thank you for having me. Indeed, the government is taking a very dangerous route. You cannot start charging Kenyans on Counter-Terrorism Act when they are indeed asking and just demanding their rights. Dissenting voices that call against, call out a bad governance, voices that call out impunity, voices that demand accountability of the very people that are paid by taxpayers' money, does not warrant in any way being made a terrorism act. If anything, this is provided for in the Constitution of Kenya under Article 37, the right to picket, the right to, assembly and just go out and put your voices there. So it's a very unfortunate thing that we are seeing the government honestly targeting human rights defenders, targeting activists, targeting civil society actors, people, organizations that are just there saying the state of affairs in Kenya is wanting, and all that people have done is call the government out. So it's really, really unfortunate that we are taking that kind of route. And I really want to appreciate the pronouncement of the court this afternoon. And in as much as even the new charges are not warranted, the court was able to the charge itself. I think they realized it's not even the court. They actually realized that they didn't have. They were trying to just position Boni and call him a terrorist. Yet this is an activist who defends the country's rights as provided for in our constitution. So you can see that the government is just trying to place accusations on individuals, and it's really, really unfortunate.
Okay, that's noted, Wangechi. So has IMLU recorded any instances where charges have been conferred based on available, or rather, the charges haven't been conferred based on available evidence, or the evidence adduced doesn't meet the legal threshold of terror-related charges?
Of course, for the cases that are before the court right now, those that have been charged under the Counter-Terrorism Act, they don't meet the threshold. Remember the severity of the anti-terrorism, issues, and the kind of persons that have been accused and charged are people who were out in the streets protesting. These are peaceful protesters. And the organization was around. I don't even think you saw anybody carrying weapons, anybody carrying anything that would be determined as a threat, that is causing violence. If anything, it's unfortunate that there has been a turnaround, because the people who should have been behind bars are the goons we have seen that have been operating within the cover and the support and the protection of the security forces. But when you start charging protesters with this act, It's a clear indication of how the government is intending to silence dissenting voices. It's a clear demonstration of a broken system. It's a clear demonstration of operating with impunity outside of the rule of law. And this really should not happen at all.
Now, from your interaction with some of these protest-related cases, are there instances or clear signs where the legal process has been used to sort of crush dissenting voices? And in your opinion, what do you make of the blowback of such a move by the relevant agencies?
Of course, even the current charges that the ODPP has put up, just look at Bonny. Arrested over charges that were not even real. They were being trumped up, they were being cooked. An arrest, a warrant to search was given for his office, the Mageuzi offices. There was no warrant to search his home. His home was searched with no relevant approvals. It's complete operating outside of the law. And then when you realize that you actually do not have any evidence that can be put forth in such a case, you then waste the court's time, you waste people's time. In court today, we were there for so many hours. This case was only heard towards the early afternoon. Why? Because it took them too long to even decide what exactly they wanted to charge him on. So what kind of investigations had been done to warrant that Bonny would be charged under the Counter-Terrorism Act? What evidence did they have? And then it's a clear proof that they did not have that evidence, because they ended up dropping that charge and charging him afresh with, unlawful possession of ammunition. And even this, you can see, it's really not going to go anywhere. So that is not how you operate. The institutions really need to operate independently. We are very disappointed with the way the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecutions is undertaking their tasks. DCI, you don't just go and search without proper warrants, proper approvals. There's a system we are running. This government should run the Kenya as a country that has a constitution, has requisite laws and policies in place. You don't just wake up and decide you want Bonny out of the streets, you want these human rights defenders out of the streets, and you just drum up charges against them. It's really not right at all. So yes, all the people who've been charged with this act are actually, peaceful protesters. We haven't seen the threshold for that, for terrorism being met. There hasn't been any evidence as far as we are concerned. And the government needs to prove that it has that evidence to push those cases forward.
Well, thanks so much. Grace Wangechi is the Executive Director at the Independent Medical Legal Unit, just giving her take on an array of issues that have played out in recent past, all to do with the conferment of terror-related charges on some of these protesters who were arrested after the youth-led protests that rocked the country in the recent past. It's also proper to note that the Office of the Director